The challenges that we had in the beginning, before we introduced VX Access, number one is we had very, very long queues. As we are one of the largest privately owned estates, we have a lot of visitors. So queuing and coming into VGC was a major challenge, especially on weekends. Second thing was security threats. We never knew where these people were going, who they were going to see, were they actually coming to see somebody. And then the third thing, prior to having VX Access, was data information. In a state like this, it's always good to know and have data. I mean, data is king. So I'd say those are the three biggest challenges that we've had prior to putting VX Access in. The benefits that we've had since then, obviously, the queues are a lot shorter because you can now send a code to your visitor. He doesn't have to go to the welcome center, or he doesn't have to queue. We've got the tablets at the gate, so it's a matter of pushing in their button and the gates open up. Security-wise, we know where they're going to, so it's helped us with our data. Our data has shown a lot of funny activities, which has obviously helped us in our security. The threat has gone down. I think we're touching just the tip of the iceberg at this stage with VX Access. As we've been going on, there's things like being able to make calls through to the welcome center for all our financial good standing people. That's been an additional benefit we didn't have. Going forward, I believe there's going to be a lot more. We're looking at making our gates fully automated. In other words, no human intervention. Once that happens, the access and the security obviously increases as well. So I do believe there's going to be a lot more benefits in the future.
As regards what inspired me to develop VX Access, I've always been concerned about having to write my name whenever I visit an office. You write your name on a piece of paper, how are you going to see, and that book is there. So I felt that such a record is not necessarily useful and it's really cumbersome. And if we could get rid of those notebooks and take advantage of technology, it would be a lot better. I mean, you can imagine writing names in notebooks and then there was a fire. What if the notebook got burnt in the fire? So I had this idea of a system that would not require notebooks, but where you can access data of people going in and coming out of a facility wherever you are. Secondly, I live in a residential estate. Having to call a certain number to receive my visitor, and the people I'm calling have no idea whether I actually live in the estate or not, because when you have close to 10,000 people living in an estate, and everyone in that estate that wants to receive a visitor would have to call a certain number. How do they know that I actually live in the estate? So I did have security concerns, and so I thought of a system that could address those concerns, and that was what led me into VX Access. In the early days of testing VX Access, as with most systems, there will be challenges. But the way I managed those challenges was to work very closely with the people at the coalface. I spent time with the receptionists at the Welcome Center to see how they actually operated on a day-to-day basis, how calls came in, what issues they had. And from that direct knowledge of what it actually feels like using the system, I would go back and make further improvements. There was a time they had a particular challenge with handling calls within calls, where they would take a call from a resident, and in the process, while still attending to that resident, another call would come in. So I could only see that by working with the people, by actually sitting there with them and seeing how they operated. And when I saw that, I went back and looked at how to address it, and I did address it. So that's just an example. There have been challenges from time to time. Sometimes you have internet challenges as well. And again, today you have built into the system a strategy to manage internet outage without creating chaos in the facility.